Recording.
Namaste, everybody.
Namaste. Good morning.
So beautiful to have you all here. Hi, Sukanya.
Hi, thanks.
And yeah, all of you who are joining back from yesterday, and some of you are joining only today, like Sukanya. Um, Delighted to welcome you back or welcome you to our Being Ayurveda introductory series, which was yesterday and today. I hope all of you who couldn't join also received the recordings and had the time to go through it. Thank you, Sukanya, for taking the time to go through it. I just wanted to, kind of recap where we left off yesterday. So the first word that we all recall, the most important word from yesterday was awareness. If you remember that little voice, which if you don't become aware of, becomes louder and louder, that voice, right? So that at what point of time do we become aware helps us to recover faster and to stay on the journey. The second big point which came to me from yesterday was lifestyle. Our lifestyle is our most lasting legacy. You can call it the three L's or three hearts: love, 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 right? So our most lasting legacy being the way we live our life, because that's the culture, lifestyle into which our children grow up. They carry some of that into their life and then pass that on, and that's the beauty of this whole thing of what we are trying to do is to how to integrate this into the way we live. The third, and which I got very relevant in the current times, is eliminate versus add. So take things out. So Kanya, I think that spoke to you a lot. To take things out so that in a time where we are very, I would say, time poor. So this is good to consider what we can take out. And lastly, which is what today is going to be and the rest of the journey is going to be about. Starting Jan, we are starting a series, Jan, Feb, and March, once a week. We'll talk about that towards the end. It's about why all of this has to be personalized. So right now I'm in Bali. It's There's a weather change, there's a season change which is going on here. A lot of people are falling sick, and beautifully Deepa calls it the Ritu Sandhi, the change in season, the Sandhi, right? The meeting of two seasons. So the season matters, where I am matters, the weather of today matters, the location matters, whether I'm at a height or I'm at the beach, lower or in the valley. My age matters, my body type, constitution matters. Uh, all of this, my current condition matters. All of these are important, and why? That's why what holds good for me may not hold good for you. Before I hand over to Deepa for the rest of the session, I wanted to uh, share with all of you something that I read last night and this morning about Pfizer discontinuing uh, a medication for weight loss. They said if you take 2 tablets a day, you'll lose weight. But it comes to that apparently it is a $10 billion industry today, and about people taking the same medication. And that's what we are saying. No, what is appropriate for you is what you should be taking, and you should be making more integrated changes, right? And they discontinued it because of obvious reasons. It's having all kinds of impact, and we won't go into that right now. So let me now hand you over to Deepa. Hi, Deepa. Welcome back.
Hi, good morning. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Of course, all of you, I can hear very clearly.
Great, great. So, starting off today with a prayer. Lalita Padakrama Ramya Ranjita Bhava Yathaiva Shailushi Mama Jihwa Rangatale Nrityatu Devi Saraswati Nityam Om Sam Saraswatyai Nama Om Sam Saraswatyai Nama Om Sam Saraswatyai Nama. First of all, I truly, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate the time and energy each and every one has taken to be here. Um, Thank you and my gratitude pronounced to all of you present today. Yesterday, I gave little glimpses into the essence of Ayurveda, and we spoke about how Ayurveda views health, not just physically, but also mentally and spiritually. It is not simply a lifestyle guide or merely a medical science. It is an all encompassing holistic art form. That's how I would like to put it. Now, we spoke about, the significance of that little voice that you just mentioned, that comes from within. Every now and then it is coming up. It plays a major role, when we are looking at our journey towards health. So the natural wisdom that, humanity once possessed, when we all lived closer to nature, has been collectively forgotten. So this is not anybody's fault as such today. Now, the urbanization of our natural landscapes has, forced on us this forgetfulness and this alienation from nature. For this, humanity today is paying a large price. However, gratefully, Ayurveda reminds us that there is nothing to fear. It emphasizes that there is no such thing as permanent damage. So yesterday we also did one little but very important exercise of noting down points that help and that don't help us in our journey, and how in the beginning of this journey towards absolute health it is ideal to start with eliminating what's not required, like you rightly pointed out, rather than adding on and increasing the burden to what we're supposed to do. Let me do this today, let me do this tomorrow. Instead of that, start off with ease by eliminating what's not really required. So for those who attended yesterday's sessions or has gone through the recording, if there was this one quick takeaway that you had from yesterday, you could put it down in chat just so that I know what resonated with all of you. Yes. Awareness of my own body and surroundings, elimination. Yeah. Oh, yes, the body has a way of balancing itself. That's something that's so important to always keep reminding ourselves. Because during COVID, the 2 years where none of us were heading out, all of us were cooped inside complaining. Some of us enjoyed because I think it was a welcome treat not to socialize, I think, for 2 years for a lot of us. So align with your natural rhythm. Yeah, so during the COVID, when you looked around, it was blooming. Nature was at its best. The air was crisp and clear. All the seasons came, so beautifully one after the other. Um, I didn't find trash, dirt anywhere around on the roads. It was just beautiful to see how we don't have to be these huge environmentalists, to go and fight against things that are happening against environment, against nature. All you have to do is just, you know be in alignment, be in rhythm, be with nature, because you are a part of it. You're not something separate. As humans, we are not anywhere higher or lower. We are part of it. So I think that was a huge realization. So understanding that, nature will balance out, not just on the outside, but also within yourself, is a huge point to remember. Yes, body has an inherent way of stabilizing. Three, three hita karana or karana?
We call it Trihita Karana here, foundational principle of living in Bali. Balance with nature, balance with each other, balance with your own self.
Yeah. Amazing, amazing. Super. Thank you so much for sharing, everyone. So I would like to share an anecdote here, going back to the late 1980s, when Acha, my father, was invited to conduct, Ayurveda courses around the world. In one of his sessions in Canada, in Valmorin, one of the young ladies uh, came up to him and cried her heart out about this ailment that she was suffering with, which was very similar to ulcerative colitis. And she's been suffering for few years at that point. Now, what struck her uh, when she heard the discourse from dad, and what her biggest takeaway from the talk was that there was still hope, right? And no matter what you're struggling with or at what stage of the disease you are going through, there is still hope. She at that point she attended the entire session that dad was talking, and she attained an understanding and belief that the imbalances that she was suffering has a chance to come back into balance, right? And all through her past diagnosis, visits to the hospitals, the sufferings, the admissions, her time in the hospitals, she was only hearing that her condition was debilitating, and there was no other option than being on pills and further with surgery. She was mentally traumatized and was on heavy doses, of medications that was actually ruining her mental health even more. She was part of various groups, supporting her through, and even though everyone was very kind, very empathetic towards her suffering, she did not really find any relief. So after hearing about Ayurveda that day, she followed dad and all his other talks through US and Canada. And after a few months down the line, she came to India for a full consult with him. She she's such an amazing person. She not only religiously underwent the entire rigorous, Ayurveda Panchakarma treatment that we gave her, but also she started to follow this fundamental Ayurveda principles of life. That is sleeping and waking up at the same time every day, devoting her morning time, at her altar with, these beautiful decorations that she did every morning, meditating on her health, making minute changes in her eating habits, and she started consuming ghee for the very first time after she came to India. Um, Dad had asked her to keep, all her daily regimens very basic and simple. Then she went back. She diligently followed this personalized, simple format for herself. She just took it up as her lifestyle. And over a few months' time, she started to feel joy again. Those were her words. Her physical ailments didn't really show much of a difference at that point of time, but she felt she was in a much better space to deal with the issues that she was going on. She kept saying, I still have all the symptoms, but I'm feeling joy. I'm feeling good. That's what she said. Now, over the span of another year, she started to see significant changes, with her bowels and digestion as well. Now, from then on, she became Dad's ardent follower and a huge follower of Ayurveda, imbibing the full Ayurvedic lifestyle, the way she cooked, the way she consumed healthy food, etc., etc. By the end of 3 years, she was completely relieved of all her symptoms. Today, she is 85 years old, one of the most famous architects in New York today, still working 6 to 8 hours a day. And she comes down to India every December for her annual consult with Dad, and she undergoes her 14 days of detox with us. So, I've met her and remember seeing her since I was a toddler, right? I was a very young child. So even today, she comes in with the same zeal and zest for life, and like how it was 35 years back from when I remember. Now, this kind of transformation is a true testament to Ayurveda. With the right guidance and few lifestyle changes, the body and the mind starts to heal itself. Now, at this point, we'll give a sneak peek into what we can look forward to in the series one and series two that Subha was mentioning. So, the more detailed programs that are coming up from January onwards. So, let's do a quick sneak peek into what it's going to be like, because we have one chapter in Ayurveda called the Dinacharya, right? Sushruta has mentioned it, Charaka has mentioned it, Vagbhata has mentioned it. All the acharyas of Ayurveda has dedicated one entire chapter in the Sutrasthanam. Sutrasthanam is the beginning of Ayurveda. They have spoken about
I
Dinacharya.
just wanted to say that the three names that Deepa just mentioned are the triumvirate, and they're considered to be the three saints, gurus, sages who brought Ayurveda, who kind of codified it and in a structured manner and brought it. Maybe it is Shushruta, Charaka, and Vagbhata, right?
Yes, yes.
Thank
So these three sages, what they have done is they have documented this entire science, right? Starting off with, so the first half of this entire science that they have documented. So it goes, there are about 700 to 800 chapters in each. And the Samhitas or the texts, the Ayurvedic texts that we study in college, that we have, taken knowledge from, is so well documented. It's amazing because it talks only about health in the beginning, right? There is no talk about, this disease, this problem, nothing. It's only talking about seasons. It's talking about our body constitution. It's talking about nature. It's talking about awareness. It's talking about human intelligence. It's beautiful how they start off like that. Now, in spite of following all this, all these health prescriptions, if you fall sick, then yes, the rest half of the explanations were okay. When you get a stomach ache, then you do this, take these herbs, take these this kind of treatment. So that's how the entire sthanas, the sutra sthanas and the chikitsa sthanas are structured. The text is structured, which itself is such a beauty to see how they talk about health first rather than just diseases.
So I just want to
Oh,
intervene there, saying most of the time we are all codified into think chikitsa first or treatment first, and then think of the foundational health first. So I love the sequence of Ayurveda, which is I want to try and make sure you have all the knowledge so that you don't need to come to me. But despite that, if you come to me, I have a structured process which will help with the chikitsa, right?
Exactly,
Rather than
exactly.
the
So
other way around. I
correct.
must share this with you. I was at the airport on the way to Bali, and I had to go to the pharmacy to get some eye drops, tear drops, just to. And I asked the pharmacist a very strange question by her own admission, which is I said, if no one comes into this pharmacy, is it a good day or a bad day? So she was shocked by that question. So anyway, back to you.
Yes. So I think something that we follow in our center as well, if you are a true, see, it's a business. The medical field is such a money making industry today. Um, but to be completely true to the science, we tell our patients we do not want to see you again, right? um, I think that's the success for a Vaidya. That's a true success story for you come in to meet, talk, do maybe like, a rejuvenation treatment. But apart from that, we do not really want to see you come back. We do not want you to keep taking medicines for diabetes or hypertension. No, that's not how it works, right? You have to break the cycle there. You have to be living um, naturally, strengthening your own system. So coming back to the ideal dinacharya or ideal daily routine that Ayurveda has so beautifully spread out for us, I'm just probably going to screen share here. Subha, can I do that? I made a quick PPT. So I am not a tech person at all. I've just developing my skills with PowerPoint. So forgive me if it doesn't look really good. Can I share, Subha? Yeah, okay. So this will be quick.
If you can put it on slideshow, it will be
Yes, I am trying
just try
to.
that. The bottom.
Ore నిమిషం. So I have the,
It's okay, carry it.
yeah, one second.
Ah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm getting better at this. Okay. So what we call the dinacharya here is something that is beautifully prescribed in a particular order, things that you have to follow every day. So starting off with awakening in the morning. So that the entire chapter starts off with this very powerful sloka. Brahma muhurte uttishthe jirna jirnam nirupayan. Brahma muhurtam is that 1.5 hours before sun rises. So that's when you should awaken yourself. Um, Next step is to go into elimination. So, emptying your bowels, emptying your bladders, this is the next step. And, Ayurveda takes this step very seriously because we have an entire chapter just talking about how to eliminate at the right time with ease, right? Without disease. So, the next step after elimination is dental hygiene. So, we again have many um, methods for dental hygiene, strengthening our oral cavity. So these are topics that we will discuss in detail when we go into our future sessions as well. And starting off the morning after your dental hygiene with sattvic practices, that's what Ayurveda says. Splashing water on your face, cleaning your face, cleaning your eyes, cleaning your nasal cavity, um, having, doing bowing towards the sun by practicing Surya Namaskar as soon as you wake up, sitting in for a quick prayer in front of the Lord, um, if you have an altar at home, decorating it, spending a little bit of time just for sattvic practices. Next is the abhyanga or the oil massage that is recommended by Ayurveda. So here, taking a nice warm oil, again the oil which is suitable for your body type, for your skin type. The oil is taken and a self massage to be given throughout your body, starting from your head, your face, and the entire body. So, this is a great self care routine for ourselves. And once the oil massage is done, a very important snanam or bathing. Having a shower, taking this time out for yourself, a very mindful bathing session is ideal, and is a very important part of the dinacharya as well in the mornings. So you can create your own bathing products. So that is one session, Subha, that we can actually have for those who are interested. Come up with an entire snanam products, bathing products, shower products. So we can do that with just ingredients present in our kitchen. That will be fun. So after bathing, yes. So after bathing,
You're not asking them
I
to buy stuff. They are saying use what is there, right?
so sorry, Subha. What is it?
Saying we're not asking them to go and buy products and asking them to use what is there in the kitchen, right?
Absolutely. We have some of the best ingredients in our kitchen just to take care of ourselves. So that will be a very interesting session if we plan to do one. And interestingly, vyayamam or exercise is coming after bathing here. See, this is in case because I think yoga and pranayama was considered as exercise. So, and it was considered as a very sattvic practice to do. Practicing yoga was considered very spiritual and sattvic, and it is supposed to be done after you have a shower. But these days, yes, we head to the gym. We are sweating out. We go for runs. So in that case, if you're lifting weights and if you're practicing CrossFit training, in that case, please finish your exercises and then come home and take a shower. Right? But if it's yoga, it is preferred to have a shower before you practice yoga. And once that is done, you go into this lovely state. You go into this internal meditative state or what we call dhyana.
Of,
Next,
of the lot that you just mentioned, I'm just reflecting on my body type, and one of the things which I should be doing but I haven't been doing is the oil. And I know my vata is my prakriti is dominant in my prakriti, and absent oil it becomes dry often. And I think from what you just mentioned, that's something that I should make sure
yeah,
that I do. Yeah.
yeah. If everyone wants to note this down, it would, if it helps them, and if you can incorporate things that you haven't already been doing, you can start seeing differences over a couple of weeks. You'll start to see how your body is actually so beautifully, giving back to you.
And the other thought which came to me is, yeah, I don't have time for all of these things. But the moment I realized it's an hour and a half before sunrise, there's a lot of time. Then that hour and a half will help us to get through all this.
Absolutely, absolutely. We not having time is just an excuse any day. Saying that we are busy is an excuse. I think once we choose what is priority for us, no matter what, we will take time out to do it. So it depends. So your daily activities, the way we think, is all a reflection of what you give priority to, right? And it will start to show, it will start to reflect outside. So after dhyana, after meditation, is time to break fast. Now again, breaking the fast, because I have grown up hearing that the breakfast is supposed to be the king of the meals, which is just contrary to what Ayurveda is talking about, right? Now when we say breakfast, yes, you're breaking your fast, but it must not be heavy, it must be something very light. It could be like a glass of porridge, milk porridge, or a ragi porridge. It could be a bowl of, cooked oats, maybe. Um, but a small bowl, right? Not those huge bowls that we are seeing today where there are like layers of cereals and layers of fruits in the morning. And according to Ayurveda, fruits must not be consumed on an empty stomach in the morning or through the day on an empty stomach. So once you break your fast with something very simple and light. So I remember, as I grew up and even today, what I practice is my mom giving us ragi kanji in the mornings. And because we live in a very hot region, coastal region, that is cooling to our system. So one small cup of the ragi cool or the ragi kanji with buttermilk or cow's milk. But in summers, during the vacation time, we never took these very heavy kind of porridges. She used to substitute that with soaked overnight rice, with chilies. So those were the kind of with a little bit of salt, little bit of pepper, a bit of turmeric. So that's how our morning routine was, and everything was just one small bowl or that one tumbler that we say in India, a glass of it. That's all. That's all. That constituted the breakfast. So after breakfast, the post breakfast activities are something that you do intellectually, creatively, actively. So any work that needs to get done, whether it's the work at home, whether it's the work at your office, whatever it is, has to be done after this breakfast period. So this time will go on till maybe 11 to 12. So 11 to 12 is the lunch time, according to Ayurveda. So this is purely taken from the Ayurvedic texts, and it is the peak time for Pitta, 11 a.m. to 12 noon. And Ayurveda says that the lunch has to be your grandest meal. So your lunch should contain the carbs, should contain the fat, should contain the protein, should contain the vegetables, should contain a sweet. So, an ideal lunch, and again, we will be diving deep into what an ideal lunch should look like when we go for the classes from Jan. Post lunch, I think if you all attended Surabhi's yoga sessions, you might know what Vajrasana is. So, after a good meal, it's ideal to sit in Vajrasana. And after you sit in Vajrasana for a couple of minutes, it is recommended that you get up and go for a stroll, not even a walk. Stroll around wherever you are. Do not sit in one place. Especially do not lie down after a good hearty meal. So, like I said yesterday, we as children were not allowed to sleep during the daytime. So, even today, when I hear, let's take a nap after lunch, I'm like, no, it's this. No, I can't do that. This is a natural instinct that comes out. You cannot sleep during the daytime unless it's been prescribed for you by a doctor, uh, unless you have a disease or you have an illness, or if it's summer. Summertime, it is allowed to sleep for few minutes, to nap for few minutes post lunch. Otherwise, sleeping during the day is strictly not allowed. So at 4 p.m., we pause, we take some time to center ourselves. This is a great time to just maybe about 20 to 30 minutes to do a quick artwork, or to sit down to journal, to sit down to meditate. So, this is a good time to do that around 4 p.m. And then we have dinner by about between 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. is considered dinner time, where you end your day's meal, which means your digestion also. Again, dinner here should be light, should be nutritious, is what Ayurveda says. Post dinner is when You spend quality sattvic time with friends or family. That's when you interact, that's when you discuss what's happened. For me, it's such a beautiful time because I remember as a child, for me, it's family time. Post dinner, we sit with one spoon of Chavanaprash, right? And Chavanaprash, an entire spoon, it takes about 20 minutes to finish an entire spoon because you're supposed to lick it. You lick it little by little by little, it mixes with your saliva, and then you swallow. So this takes about 20 to 30 minutes. And this was a time that the entire family used to gather around. Everyone will be having a spoon in their hand, licking, chit chatting about their day. The kids will be talking about what they did at school, the parents are talking about what they did at work, and how the entire day went. So, and any discussion that was supposed to happen used to happen post dinner at this time. And then it's bedtime. At bedtime, strictly by 10 p.m., the lights have to be out. Personally, I love to just spend some time with my son at this point. We chant very soft mantras. We tell a story every now and then to each other. And we sing this beautiful kirtans just before we go to bed. So, this is an ideal dinacharya. Yes, there will be off days. There will be times where some things are not under your control. But to our level best, if we can bring a beautiful routine. So, what I have mentioned from morning to night is an ideal daily routine prescribed by Ayurveda. But you can tweak it here and there to your convenience. But sticking on to the sleep and eating times is generally better if we can follow what Ayurveda mentions because it definitely makes a huge difference. So if I'm going to stop sharing here.
Yeah. While you're at the tech, I just wanted to share that exactly what we eat, exactly what we do, those are all things which need to be aligned with where we are and who we are. And that's where we do that double click and deep dive into personalizing it during the session. But here is the structure, is what Deepa is sharing with all of us.
Yes.
Deepa, there is a question from Rinku, which I'll just kind of bring out. She says,
Sorry, I'm
after,
not seeing it.
can you hear me? No?
Yes, yes, yes.
Uh, so there's a question from Rinku, and that is, after exercise, do we have to wait for our body temperature to come down before taking a bath?
Oh, yes. That is such an important point. Always wait until your body settles down because I see people are rushing, like they work out, you're huffing and puffing, you're panting for breath, you are sweating, so there's so much heat in the body, your body's trying to cool by sweating out, and then you're rushing into the shower, and then you're opening hot water. So, even the bathing style, I think that is so beautifully described in Ayurveda, where you do not use hot water for your body, you do not use hot water for your head. You use lukewarm or room temperature water, and so there are so many beautiful ways to do this. So that's a great question where you should definitely always wait to settle down first and then get into the shower after a workout.
So, yep.
Yeah. So from here. Each and every practice mentioned here is sourced from the Ayurveda texts. I have taken each and every point from there and I've put it down out for you. And once you have understood these fundamental principles, like I said, you can use your own discrimination and create your own unique practice to experience Ayurveda lifestyle that's most optimum for you. So over the years of my practice and over the years of my father's practice, my grandfather's practice, my great grandfather's practice, and to practices before them for thousands of years back, just going back to see how this science has evolved over the years, the Ayurveda principles have stood the test of time. And how? The survival of this science against all odds. I think it's a living testament to the accomplishments of the wise and the divine sages. So all these principles were valid then, it is valid today, and it is valid tomorrow. I'm always humbled, filled with gratitude, and I am definitely fortunate to have studied with the modern day sages, of Ayurveda, starting with my father and looking at the documentation of my grandfather's work and all my gurus who have guided me through my college, my spiritual yoga guru from the Himalayas, Swami Govindananda. No, the guidance and this very fierce, unflinching belief, that has come through generations in this medical system was only possible because of the direct knowledge transfer from being with my gurus at various stages in my life. So today, in this age of high tech, internet and abundance of knowledge that's available to us at our fingertips, it's easy to get have get distorted information, to get multiple different kinds of information and knowledge in hand. Now I believe that a direct teacher student relationship is very special, and it is potentially superior to any academic system, especially for sciences like Ayurveda, yoga, and Vedanta. Now, even though a huge chunk of what I know of Ayurveda today, and the Vedanta philosophies are from studying books, when it actually comes to practically implementing this knowledge wisely, I truly dedicate that refinement of knowledge to my gurus. So this personalized process of training and knowledge transfer and experience is key to gaining, the right kind of wisdom. Knowledge you can get it from anywhere, but wisdom is something that you can only acquire from direct interaction from people. So, and really, really huge thanks to Subha, who has created this um, magnificent, beautiful Sattvic platform where we have lovely yoga teacher, we have Subha himself taking the philosophy lessons, wisdom lessons, and I'm, as I always say, I'm fortunate to be a part of transferring what I know, what little I know about Ayurveda to this community. So when we consciously cultivate good health through mindful lifestyle practices and rejuvenating food and medicine, our bodies can become transformed. We can manifest a state of health that is vibrant, with ease, with a lot of energy and flow. This is Ayurveda. Thank you so much. Any questions? We can
Yeah,
interact.
just a couple of things. So there's a question there which I'll bring up. It's very important in the times currently what's going on. But I just wanted to say this that yes, there is a lot of information out there. What is the relevant information for me? Then how do I make it appropriate to my current condition? That's where the discussion, the presence of a teacher, the discussion with, and the guidance uh, from an expert. We do that in everything else in life. And this is also important because the most important person in our life should be ourselves. So I think this is a very relevant point that you bring about. That is, and the second thing is we know a lot, but and that's what we focus on here. My entire focus is that how do we make it happen? How do we apply it in our lives? But it is said that whether it's the world of business or whether it's the world of life, the knowing doing gap is where the most value can be got from. And I call it also there is a doing being gap because you have to stop doing consciously and make it integral to how you live. Now, the important question, which for the times, as I said, is intermittent fasting. So, fasting as a topic and intermittent fasting. Please share your thoughts from Anita.
Hmm. Intermittent fasting, the terminology is new, but it's something that has been practiced. So fasting is considered to be excellent for us. We do it every fortnight. You know, the Purnami time is when you fast, and um, but that is like a 24-hour fast. But intermittent fasting is something that we're automatically doing, I think, because if you're going to eat your meal at by 6 p.m. in the evening, and you're breaking your fast at about 9 a.m. or 8:30 a.m. in the morning, I think it's like a good gap of intermittent fasting. So it's just a new terminology that's come up today. But if you're following the Ayurveda lifestyle, it's already incorporated in it.
And to carry that on, there is also people who observe fasts once a month or once a week. What any thoughts on that? Just to carry forward that topic.
Excellent. It's excellent. See, because digestion takes up 80% of your body's energy. 80%. Rest of the things that you're doing is only 20% of the energy that you're utilizing, right? So if you're going to give this gap and this break that the body really needs, if you know you are fit to go into a state of fasting, please go ahead. But if you feel you're hypoglycemic or if your sugar levels are going down, please do not guilt trip yourself. Go ahead and have your little meal at that point. So
I love that. I love
good.
that.
It's always good. Yeah.
I did get onto fasting once, and there was a time I was at work and I was fasting, and I almost went to sleep on the wheel as I drove back home. So it can become very dangerous, right? Literally, yeah. So I appreciate that. I think that's you have to be in. Go back to the first point. Always go back to the first point. Awareness,
Yes, absolutely.
yeah, and do what's relevant to you. So that's good. So I hear that there is also different types of fast, juice fast, the green juice fast being currently, and water fast and all that. Any thoughts on that before we close this topic of fast?
Ha. So I am this very uncomplicated person, Subha. I try to follow this practice of simple living. I do not overcomplicate myself. So once I have my routine, I stick to that. There is no mention of juice fast in Ayurveda as such from the text, but it's a trend. So everything is a trend today. So someone does it and they felt good, and then the entire world is doing it. For example, keto, paleo, and all was developed for a group of patients, right? The keto and paleo diet. But because it helped a group of patients in their study, today everybody is following it without any mindfulness. So be very mindful. Whatever you choose, you have to be very mindful. Um, to have that health intelligence, first of all, right? That sound, that little voice that keeps telling you, this is good for you, this is not good for you. Please follow that. And I think to be able to choose what's right for you based on the season and your body type, I think is a sensible thing to do, and not just follow fad diets and fasting techniques.
There's another question on hydration. It's come to me direct message, so I'm pulling that out. What's the right amount of water one should drink? Please advise. Hydration.
Yeah, yeah. Right amount of water one should drink. Ayurveda very strictly says drink water when you're thirsty. Your body will ask for it. Please do not gulp down liters and liters of water unless again prescribed by a doctor for a particular disease. But on a daily basis, because I cannot tell a person living in Chennai in India, which is a coastal region, which is so humid, which is hot throughout the year, to drink the same amount of water as a person living in a mountainous region where there is snow. They do not need that much of water. So again, like how everything has to be personalized depending on your body type. So a kapha dominant person doesn't require too much water as a pitta dominant person, right? So again, those differences will come. So once you realize your body type, once you are aware of the kind of environment that you are living in, you have to choose and see what's best for you.
So I get it that where you are, look, one size does not fit all, and where you are, location, season, and also your body type will determine even something as simple as hydration. And also, what you said is don't gulp down water, uh, and link it to just sipping it, and speak. Let the body, that little voice, speak to you and say, "I want water," and you respond to it.
Yep. Yep. So one of a great technique to figure out if you're dehydrated is to look at the sole of your feet. Right? If you look at the sole of your feet, if you see this white layer, this powdery kind of a layer. If you could all look at your feet right now, if that is there, it means you need water. It means you're dehydrated, right? Adukana, you should not go and drink those liters and liters of water, but sip on this 1 tumbler of water, over a few hours, and you should be good.
Thank you. Sukanya, I just want to call upon you. You had something specific to ask, so just wanted to. I know I didn't see it in the comments. Is there anything still, or has it been answered during the day, during the session?
It's been answered. Wonderful. I really appreciate all the knowledge you've shared, and I look forward to the course because this is something I really need to do. It's something I've been wanting to eat more mindfully, and I haven't gotten to it yet. So I'm looking forward to the course and just also to committing to certain things. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you, Sukanya. Kavita,
Thank you.
anything from you? Kavita is also a very senior yoga teacher. Has been in various, from Singapore.
Hey, thank you. Thank you. Very kind, Subha. Just thank you. Just a quick question. Actually, I was about to type it, but Deepa, this has been amazing, your sessions. Thank you for all the insight. In your list of what to do from morning to evening, some of us have a habit of drinking morning tea or morning coffee, and would be lovely. Some of us just feel that we probably cannot eliminate or whatever until we have that, and it grows into a habit. Would love to hear your thoughts and what Ayurveda says.
Yes. So Ayurveda does not recommend having something as high. So coffee and tea is considered to be high in pitta, heat. So it's not recommended to have tea or coffee on an empty stomach, right? But what's so beautiful, that said, what's so beautiful about Ayurveda is there is a concept that Ayurveda talks about called the Satmyam. Satmyam is, activities or daily habits that you have cultivated over the years that has started suiting your system, right? So poison is obviously not good for our body, right? But taking it in small doses over the years is not really going to have any adverse effect on you. So similarly, so this is Satmyam. You develop Satmyatvam over a period of years, over a particular habit, right? So there is nothing wrong if you are habituated to drinking that cup of coffee, but this should be the size of the coffee, because today when you head out, you're getting coffees in these huge mugs with so much sugar, there's so much coffee, there's a lot of cream. So ideally this very small coffee tumbler that you get, that is the right quantity of coffee that you can have, or tea that you can have, and preferably the heat of the coffee can be diluted with milk. Milk is again cooling, so that's why coffee decoctions, you add milk, a little bit of sweet, so the heat of that coffee is not fully immediately going into your system first thing in the morning.
Great. Kavita is feeling so thrilled, and she's about to say, "Yes, I can continue."
Big relief. Yay. Yeah, thank you.
Great. So Priya, your question, I'll just bring that up, but I wanted to share. Her question was, if you're an early riser, say by 1 p.m., you have completed 8 hours in a day. If you want to be energetic for the next 7 hours, what can you do to beat the lethargy post lunch so that you can avoid afternoon nap? Before I hand this over to Deepa, I wanted to share this very personal experience. We are in Bali hosting corporate groups, and after lunch, we keep we follow almost the structure that you mentioned, which is the light breakfast and one meal a day, but it's all freshly cooked, and it's a meal which is quite balanced. And what they noticed and they said is, hey, how come after lunch we don't feel sleepy and we can continue to work and engage in conversation, right? So back to you, Deepa. That was my kind of response to that, but I'll leave it back to you.
Yeah, I think you just answered the question, Subha, and it's just perfect because the quality of your food, if it's heavy, it's very hard to digest. And when this digestion has this lethargy in it, is what will reflect in your body and mind as well, right? So when you know that this kind of heavy eating is actually bringing this heaviness in your system, where you just want to go lie down, you need to really make these few changes with the kind of food that you're eating. So that is very important. So the importance of adding ghee to your food when you eat your meal as well. That again, this is like a topic that we will discuss in detail.
That's right.
So it will take a
And,
lot of time
and I
otherwise. Yeah.
also feel that if we observe the dinacharya that you mentioned, you will be energetic through the day, right? So it will
If
happen.
you're
Priya,
practicing yoga, pranayama, yes, you will definitely have that energy.
just right. If you feel lethargic, my recommendation to you, please try Nadi Shodhana through the day, and it will bring you back, right? So yeah. There's one last question, but I think I just want to take some time. Hema, I'll just come to you. You're specific on oil pulling. We'll address that. I want to take a little bit time to tell you what we have planned and how we have planned it. There is a reason for the way we have planned the structured the program. We start on the 7th of Jan. We're taking 1 day break on Shankranti Day. So every Sunday, other than that, we are going ahead from 7th Jan, if I'm not mistaken, until 11th Feb, except the Shankranti break. And then we start again on 25th Feb, and we are going on series 2 till 31st of March. And then I'm sure there'll be a series 3, 4, 5 kind of thing. So uh, the first group of sessions, we're starting with health intelligence. We're going with Ayurveda and enchanted forest, three doshas, essentially understanding your prakriti of goes on in the next, how you know yourself um, in body and mind and behavior. And then after that, most important is that we develop a personal formula. So we're going to invest time, not just dumping knowledge, but in how do we apply this to Kavita? How do we apply this to Sukanya? How do we apply this to Vidya? How do we apply this to Subba? So each one of us, knowing who we are, what do we bring in? So that's the first batch, we call it, introducing, understanding my body and mind, and bring that into my life. And the next one is a lifestyle for me. Here we're going to deal with the dinacharya, morning ritual, daily cleanse, food flavors for me, the six tastes, and food philosophy, very exciting. And then sleep, also exceedingly important in this time. And again, finish with developing your personal formula. I could say formulation in the perhaps in the Ayurvedic terminology. So that's the how we've structured it. The reason why we are giving that 1 week gap is that we don't want to thrust all the information in one go. We wanted to take that in, savor it, kind of reflect on it, and then come back with, okay, so this is how I want you to start thinking about how do you implement these things rather than just taking in a lot of information over 2 days and then going back to your life. So that's why we've broken it up into these weekly journeys. Each session will be 1 hour. You will get recordings so that if you miss something or you are in a different part of the world, we are doing this Sunday morning, if I'm not mistaken, 7 a.m. India time or 9:30 a.m. Singapore time for 1 hour each, which will be very interactive session. So I just wanted to leave that. You will all get mailers on this later, and we will all be there to answer for the questions. So I'm always there. So I just wanted to leave that. And any other questions or regarding that before we go to oil pulling? Any thoughts? Any questions? Stunned silence. Okay, good. So I hope that was clear enough. You will get the recordings and you will get the details on this. Uh, feel free to ask or respond with any questions, or you can WhatsApp me also. Oil pulling was a question which was asked by Hema. I think this would be part of your morning oral hygiene, if I'm not mistaken. Uh, right, Deepa?
Yes, yes. So it is oil pulling is a part of the dinacharya. It is part of doing it every morning with your dental hygiene.
Right, fantastic. Okay. Any other thoughts? We are spot on time, but any happy to share, to listen to any of you what you got out of this 2 days? Could be.
Sorry, Subha, I think there was one question about the tongue. I
Oh
am
yeah,
not
yeah,
able
yeah.
to see.
Rinku asked a question about the color of the tongue. Sorry, I missed that. Yes.
Yeah, so there is an entire, I think, another sage who wrote about identifying the situation of your body, your health, just by diagnosis with how your tongue is colored, whether there are cracks in your tongue. But that's a deep science again, but it's something that I haven't learned yet. So forgive me if I'm not able to give you full details about this.
Thank you. All right. Okay, so one question, I'm sure, unasked question on everyone's mind is, Subha, okay, so how much is the course going to cost? And one of the ways in which Deepa and me thought about that topic was, okay, over the 11 sessions that uh, we are going to offer, which is 5 plus 6, we should offer it at a price of a single visit that you're going to make to the doctor and buying the medicines. So, single consult that you go to the doctor and buying medicines, if you could just not lifelong, okay, just one consult is all that it will cost you. So that's the way we have kind of made sure that it's accessible to everyone, and it's to avoid many more of those that we want to be able to do this. Any thoughts, sign off thoughts on that, Deepa? Anything else that you want to share before we close today?
Yes. So I think one last thing that I would like to say is, Ayurveda is not a quick fix. So the expectations that we have out of this, it's not a quick fix. I have this problem, I'm going to do this, and then the problem is going to get solved. No, it's a process. So patience is something that we need to develop. So that is something that we will be working on in every session as well. So 5 to 10 minutes of just being able to patiently sit doing nothing, finding that stillness, and to be comfortable with that stillness. So once you're comfortable with stillness, you are able to be more patient, be more welcoming of the effects or the reflection of the daily acts that we do. So we will all develop patience, we will all develop stillness, and see how this beautiful science unfolds for each one of us during this process.
So, just summarizing today's session, I had a few things which I wrote down. First was the beautiful story about the architect in New York, 85 years old, 3 years staying diligent, staying zealous about her journey, about herself, and how keeping it there, that's the reflection of what you just said. A silver bullet has other implications, whereas staying with this journey will progressively get you there. So, that was one beautiful story. I read a book by Andrew Weil, and that was very relevant to her journey. And his book, he speaks about how in the forests of the Latin America, the shamanic tradition, the forest, they have a belief that the river cleanses itself. So the moment you stop throwing junk into it, it will become clean. And so the whole idea is about how to become aware of it and let the river of our being cleanse itself. We don't have to do anything, we just have to get out of the way.
Yeah.
Second was Dinacharya, so beautifully spoken about, and so many nuances in that. I'm sure many people took note that lunch being the big meal of the day, the Vajrasana after the lunch, some of those were quite different. And also having that meal by about 11 to 12 and finishing up dinner by 6 to 7. That was fascinating. And yes, I also love the personalization of each one of those that will come. So, in summary, this plus the little voice, keep listening to that little voice and be aware. Uh, and we hope to see you in the new year and start a new journey with all of you. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karvavahe Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Thank you all for your presence and active participation. Loved these 2 days with both of with the Deepa and with all of you, and looking forward to seeing you in Jan. And I just wanted to also say that Sukanya will be speaking to us about her journey during our meditation in the evening. So those of you who are joining the meditation, Everest Base Camp journey, she will speak about.
Thank you, Subha. Thank you.